Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Thursday Night Hangout, where we like to bass boost this shit. Let the bass drop. Does anybody know what that's from? Beastie Boys?
Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific company himself, Ozzy.
Hello! Welcome to the show, and I apologize to anybody who apparently were making going deaf tonight from our bass-boosting, mic-dropping show of loud noises, because that's how we roll. We're loud and boisterous, because we like to let people know what the facts of life are.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Which is why you'll notice that as we go through this show, Zelius's mic will become quieter and quieter because he's already trying to clip, and we haven't even gotten like 3 minutes into the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Charlie.
Why do you make your bed to lay in it? Like, doesn't laying in the bed just get the bed dirty?
All right, kids. All right.
I don't understand.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed that a certain individual, i.e. Zelius, was not here this past week.
I wasn't?
No, you were not.
Oh my gosh. Where was I? I forget.
Robot stuff.
Yes, we had robot stuff in Athens, Georgia, where, humble brag, but I'm proud to say our team came in basically second place out of 36 teams. We're a very competitive field, which means that the team now moves on to World's Competition, April, in Houston, Texas, where they face off against the best teams in the world.
The best of the best of the best.
We are the 1% of robotics.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, no, it was actually very exciting. It's all, the kids do the stuff. I don't even know what the hell they're doing anymore. I'm there to make sure, they don't die, basically. That's my job.
But where is World's taking place?
Houston, Texas. Yes. It's interesting trying to book roads, the worst part is logistics. Like planning travel and hotels and money, lots and lots of money.
Money.
If anybody out there wants to be a donor for my team because kids are awesome, let me know.
Money.
I don't think this is the right audience for that, but whatever.
Money.
Money. I know it's money.
Money.
So it's been a very exciting season. But we're also kind of done practicing now because we're all burnt out.
Money.
Do you have money?
No.
No? Okay, I thought
I have no money.
No money.
No money.
More money, more problem?
I don't have enough money to have any problems.
Well, there you go.
Ta-ta-ta.
So what you're saying is the path to success is not having money.
No.
Oh, damn.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, you might have, if you tuned into last week's episode, you would have seen the one and only Mr. Ando. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a quick breakdown. I know I haven't done my Ando con review, but have no fear. That video is on its way. But first of all, photo op. Okay, anyways, so AndoCon, of course, happened this past weekend, and in that weekend was a bunch of awesomeness. Now, unfortunately, Zelius only got to get a little smidge of it. However, there was a pretty big reveal on Ando's part as to why there was not an AndoCon 2017.
What was that reveal?
He actually was suffering with some mental stuff. He also found out that he was on the autistic scale. So basically he got emotionally, mentally kind of just like thrown through the ringer. And so he needed to take a step back so he could, take a deep breath and...
I assumed he was just pregnant.
No, he's not pregnant.
Well, that's around the time, if I remember right, when the whole job situation kind of changed.
Yes.
And it seems, most of us here, we have to work to live, it's just a fact. And sometimes, I think we've all seen when people have jobs that they need that doesn't not even necessarily fulfill them, but just, let's be honest, miserable jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We've all had those jobs in our lives. And some people, Ando took that dive. He was like, screw this. And now, I don't think he minds me saying it, he talks about all the time on Facebook of how much he likes his job. And I think that's awesome. If somebody finds a job or, kind of that career calling that they can really be passionate about, that's going to help your mental health state. Because let's be honest, we spend, in America, probably 10 hours a day at our job. America's not the full-time, just spend 8 hours of your job. That just does not work way on salary, unfortunately. It's always more for most of us salaried people. So I'm happy to see that, it sounds like he's doing better. And It sounds like, when you have that job where you spend half of your most of your awake time that you can be involved in. That's great. So I'm really glad to hear that. That he's doing better and that he was able to do the AndoCon.
Well, I think one of the things that was huge for him at the bare minimum was the fact that since they did a Kickstarter this year, it was through the Kickstarter you could really see the love and support. And I think that was huge because it wasn't, you're not saying, I'm going to throw a convention, but you have no idea, what the vibe is.
Sure. I do have one question that
yes,
I don't know if you know the answer to. And
I will try to answer.
Have a couple people comment on this.
Yes.
Was the size of the gaming room.
Yes.
When we did it 2 years ago at the Perimeter Marriott, it was a rather large gaming room, whereas it seemed like the one this year was much smaller. And that's not a criticism at all. It's just an observation. Can you speak to any of that?
So there was some last minute moving around, apparently, that happened. There were certain events that did not go off. I think that they kind of did a guesstimation. This is their best guess, and basically they made, I think it's the board game room was almost the same size as the RPG room.
They were about the same size.
Yes. The other thing was the main panel, the vendor hall was just teeny, and then the main panel room was.
I never made it into the vendor room.
So it was closed by the time you got there.
That's good reason why.
Yeah, and then the main panel room, there's only one panel room, that was not bad, but unfortunately you had the registration desk right outside.
I saw that.
And so volume was an issue. And then they had 2 showcase rooms. I have no idea if those were actually used. And then they had basically the private gaming room, which you actually got to go in there for
Die Laughing.
Die Laughing. Which, by the way, I have the alpha prototype of Die Laughing and the pre-release of Capers, and I was going to have it on this show, which, of course, here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, you may notice that it's just me and Zelius. I know that we promised an additional person. His name is Craig Campbell. He's the mastermind behind Nerdburger Games. And of course, he was to showcase or talk about a little bit about his current Kickstarter, Capers.
Just all around a great guy.
And you know that we have talked a lot about his other game, Mergers and Acquisitions, which is actually one of the gifts, one of the prizes that you could have won if you were actually at the Nerdburger podcast panel.
Were you at it?
At AndoCon, yes. But I just sat in the back.
Okay.
Of course, they're like, dude, you should have come out and said something. Like, man, I see y'all enough. I've got basically everything up there. Well, I mean, I wasn't going to take the board games away from people who are actually going to, I mean, I was the person who basically quadrupled the attendance in there because I went into my showman, my salesman mode.
Nice.
There's like no one in there. And I'm like, what the hell? So I'm finally like, ladies and gentlemen, don't you want to win something? Come this way, no, wait. You can't, that's the too far. No, wait. Too short. No, that's not the right door. Come. And nice. They was like, what the hell? And then they came in. So
there you go.
But
so
anyway,
you should get a cut of his proceeds.
No. Anyway, so Craig Campbell unfortunately had to cancel at the last minute. He's going to reschedule.
Okay.
He's going to do next Thursday, where he will continue to talk about Capers. Now, of course, if you're interested in Capers, you can go over to Kickstarter and just type in Capers, Capers, or just go to nerdburgergames.com and then click on the link there.
Have you Kickstarted?
Of course I have.
What tier did you do? Can I? Oh, you don't have to answer. I'm just curious. Will you see your illustration in the game?
Yes.
All right. Very nice.
Yes. And if you want to figure out what that means, you can just go over and you can find it out.
Well, because you did that for M&A too.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So, what did you think of Die Laughing?
I liked it. It really depends. So, the one thing, I love Craig Campbell's games. I love, I played another game called Part-Time God.
Okay.
Which was really good as well. But the problem is between that game and Craig's game, there are 2 huge things that have to go in to make a successful game.
Okay.
You have to have a game master, a storyteller, who can go with the flow.
So reverse. So we're talking about these games. You're like, what the hell are they even talking about? So Die Laughing is basically a GM-less RPG. So what happens in a nutshell is, let's just say you have 5 people. What happens is person 1 is the producer. So they give it a script.
So they're basically the game master for that scene.
For that scene only. So they get it's a short script. It's like, 3 sentences. Like ours was like, you go into a party and a pair of underwear is the boss. Now they don't know this. The other 4 don't know this. But you set up the scene saying like, okay, you're at this party and stuff. And then the key thing is the next person, so player number 2, is they're the star in that scene. So player number 2, they have to craft a story, and then I'm player number 2, I take over, it's like, okay, I'm at the party, I was the cheerleader, so I have my buddy over here, we're walking around. And,
you're also assigned characters.
Yeah, so you have characters, and like, for instance, in ours, like when I was the cheerleader, I ordered the jock to throw the nerd out of the window with the wedgie. So like you make a story, and then at some point, then the producer jumps in with like the monster or whatever that story is. And you roll dice, and like it's made so you die, which works out because there's dying mechanics.
So basically, you're trying to be the last one standing.
But to Charlie's point is he's absolutely right though, because there's not a GM telling the story. It's each person tells the story as it goes around the circle.
So for Die Laughing, it's more. So there's 2 pieces that I think are huge. One, you have to have a great game master. Now, in a game master-less game where everyone's kind of taking a turn being the controller, you have to have creative individuals.
Multiples. That's part of the.
So mergers and acquisitions is basically a game of subterfuge. It's literally like Office Space meets Battle Royale, and they just you're trying to kill your competition while trying to solve a story. And you have to have a game master who's able to craft a convincing story and also is willing to go off script if the characters or the players go off script.
Because it's going to happen.
Of course. You have to be flexible. And so when you don't have all these like hardcore mechanics, like your sword does 7 6-sided dice of damage, and then you can only go 15 feet in this direction.
Yep.
Where it's more it's more of a story. Yeah, there's a little bit of like rules and mechanics in it, but it's more about the story than anything else.
Yeah, I agree.
So to have someone who's able to kind of roll with the punches or is able to think on their feet, it's a lot harder.
Which Greg is great at, by the way.
Absolutely.
He's a great GM.
It's a lot harder than like doing a Dungeons and Dragons thing because, yeah, I mean, it could happen in Dungeons and Dragons. Hell, it happened in my pencil and paper several times when I had douchebag or unique individuals who decided to go completely against the grain.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that if you have someone who has an imagination, who is creative, who's willing to bend, it is awesome because you can. The thing about the Capers, Die Laughing, Mergers and Acquisitions, Part-Time God, and a bunch of other things, is the simple fact that since it's more about the story than anything else, you could really get lost into it, and that's when the magic happens, as it were. So unfortunately, we'll have to wait until next week to talk to Craig about all his awesomeness.
I agree. So did you enjoy Die Laughing? That's the real question.
I did. I was a little bit unnerved with one of the players because I just didn't know where he was going to go.
I can probably guess who that was. Just from remote observation.
Yes. But overall, it was fun. I mean,
I'll tell you, having Ando in our group was great.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because like he's kind of like method. He's like you said, he had to get into his method acting like he does with the escapery, where he has to get into that role to kind of entertain.
Yep.
And he was the pothead, and he did a great job at just playing that role. And it's interesting though, because when I think of Die Laughing, it's GM-less, but you could still kind of have that player who helps to kind of carry the story, to kind of help. Somebody's kind of like, well, I don't know what to do as the star of the show. Having that other player there to kind of step in like he was doing, you can still have that player to
Right.
really make it go they wouldn't have otherwise.
Right. So, anyways, so let's get into our first story. Since we don't have Craig, I'm sorry, but let's rock and roll, shall we? So the first story is Fortnite is coming to iOS.
What? How does that work? It's like a PC game, an Xbox game, and a PlayStation game. How do you play it on my iOS device?
So, I of course have everything out of order, so if you'll excuse me. So, Fortnite is coming to mobile. It will, now this is the thing that's quite interesting. It will be cross-platform. So what it's saying is that currently it's going to come into the iOS devices. We're talking iPhone 6s, SE, iPad Mini 4, iPad Air 2, iPad 2017, iPad Pro, or newer Apple device with iOS 11 is required to play. Regardless, you can get a sense for both how it may look on your device of choice and what it's going to play like. They are promising that you will get the full experience, and graphic quality, as expected, is lower than many of the games than you probably experience on the
What
PC.
about battery life?
That's a good question.
It's gotta kill it.
So here's the deal. This isn't open beta right now. This is a closed beta. You can basically sign up for the mobile test. It will only be available for iOS for right now, and it will be coming onto Android later. Players can opt in for cross-play with PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC if you want to. You don't have to, but it is an available option. Which is kind of interesting. You have the choice, which I think, come to think of it, shouldn't that always be the case? Like, if you have a game that's on several different platforms, and you have it on, I don't know, the game's on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC.
Yeah.
And you want to play the best of the best. So you're like, okay, all three. But let's say that you just want to, or you just want to start off with the Xbox people, since that's what you have, and you expand it from there.
I wonder, like, cause like, Fortnite, you go around to like, trying to, shoot people and stuff. Like even like something simple like aiming, like in a touchscreen. Like you've mentioned before, when you try to play, especially like, kind of time-sensitive games on the iOS device. Like when you have big hands, you can't even see, cause like, you have to see what's going on at all times. And now you're covering up your screen, or like, the big thing that always gets me with iOS games is timing. Because like, we're used to well, I'm moving a mouse, you can't tell. But moving a mouse and clicking, like we have timing down pretty well by now. But when it comes to like, clicking and like getting that exact timing on clicking, it's very difficult to be like exactly precise.
Or just, you've got all these different controls that you can, you've got that tactile feedback to push the buttons and stuff. Yeah.
Versus a mobile device with basically one input device, the screen. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it works. I say, in a way though, kudos to the Fortnite developer for trying to branch out and not just playing it safe.
Yeah.
They're in a battle. It's basically them in battle. What is it? Playground Battle Unknown, whatever it's called.
Player Unknown Battleground.
Yeah, the name always confuses me. Player Unknown Battleground. So it's basically like those are the two games right now in that genre. And Fortnite's like, well, we got to, kind of expand our horizons and not just, take it easy.
I think that one of the things is that we're now seeing this, I think thanks to the Nintendo Switch, is that you're seeing, and no, Nintendo Switch is kind of a cheat because they have the controls basically built onto the side.
But wouldn't this make sense on the Nintendo Switch more than the iOS?
Yes.
Really?
And I think it might be coming to the Switch.
I would hope so.
I'm pretty sure. There's a bunch of stuff coming to the Switch.
If we thought, kids trying to play games at school was bad now, just imagine until they can have their iPhone at school playing Fortnite. Don't even think about that.
Yeah. But cool for, kudos for them. I hope it works, and it would be very interesting to see some of these cross-platform battles and see if you truly are at a disadvantage, or if you're going to have to use a third-party peripheral to kind of, even up the odds. All right, next topic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so Take Two. Ironically, I placed this one right after it because the reason why Take Two is taking some financial hits is because of games like Fortnite and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The thing is that they're losing a bunch of money when it comes to basically free-to-play games. Their big one is, of course, Grand Theft Auto. Was it Grand Theft Auto Online? Yeah, Grand Theft Auto Online. So what's happening is that their revenue compared, like for like microtransactions in-game purchases and all that stuff, it is not. It's basically getting the shit kicked out of it by PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds of Fortnite. So it's so you have an established company. Take Two actually is the publisher.
So for reference, what does Take Two make?
Take Two is actually the publisher of like Rockstar Entertainment. Rockstar Entertainment is actually the Grand Theft Auto. Yep. They also have 2K Sports. So what's going on is, so you have a very established company that's basically getting ass whooped by, I'm not saying a startup because Fortnite is actually Epic. So it's not like, they're a small team. However, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I don't know who that developer is, but I don't think it's a big namer.
Well, the thing is like, think of, what PlayerUnknown's Battleground and Fortnite are like, and you look at Grand Theft Auto. It's almost like Grand Theft Auto Online should have been these games.
Yeah.
In terms of being the leader of that genre. It's like they kind of rest on the laurels, it seems, in terms of, not having the best online experience for their games from everything I've read. And, they had the very popular single-player games, but like it or not, guess where things are moving? To the online battles scene.
Right.
What?
Right.
Yeah, and so like they had really that chance to really play off of the entire GTA name, because everybody knows GTA, knows the title. So they really, it seems like, had a chance to really, corner that market as far as this, competitive gameplay goes, and they just missed the boat. The two other games came out, and everybody loves them, and it's not like they're new games. I mean, they are new games. It's not like they're entrenched names or anything.
It's like it's like they're it's not like it's a brand new type of game. I mean, that formula, that style has been out there forever.
Yes.
It's just that Fortnite, and I'm just going to call it, instead of continuously trying to do, I'm going to do PUBG.
Thank you. That works better.
PUBG and Fortnite, they've taken those mechanics and they've found a way to make it, I guess more appealing. Maybe it's easier to pick up. Maybe the battles are a little bit more intense, or it's more, the controls are tighter. I don't, there's something there that's causing much more excitement than the others.
I mean, that's, in today in class, the kids were having like a fight over what's the more hardcore game, PUBG or Fortnite. I didn't know anything about either, so I'm like, okay. But like, that's what they're talking about, are these games.
Well, those are actually like the number 2 and number 3 most populated. Like, those are if you were to look at Steam statistics, the top game, of course, is League of Legends. Mm-hmm. And then there's basically Fortnite and PUBG basically bounce back and forth between 2 and 3 when it comes to most concurrent users, active users online at a time. So yeah. And Nudge's point was the genre was created by Hunger Games, basically. So it's like Hunger Games, which of course was created by what, Charlie? Battle Royale.
Battle Royale! It's a clone of Battle Royale.
Which was created by the Roman Colosseum, which was created by Dino Battles. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Maybe.
Dino Battles, that sounds exciting. But yes, you are right, Nudge. You think about it, it is Hunger Games. Yeah. Who's the last player standing? And that's
why every game out. Well, there's
a
lot of games that are trying to get some sort of thing out there. That's why Paladins is making a Battlegrounds.
Oh, they are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it turns on for like half a second in the Paladins. They're like, yeah, we can't do that because I don't know. But it pisses me off because every single time you go to Paladins, you look at the play button. It goes new mode. So I'm like, click. I'm like, there is no new mode. But since I just went into Paladins, I do want to air some grievances.
Oh no!
They changed the damn card system back to the way it was before, where you choose the 5 cards, and you put points that equal up to 15. So no longer power level your damn cards. They changed the leveling scheme. So all of a sudden, I went from, I don't know, I think I was at 17 or 18 with Talus. I'm at 33 now.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
I don't know. Probably bad. I don't know. And they have removed Onslaught from free play, competitive play. However, it's still there for training purposes. So I just play Onslaught in the training thing, which unfortunately means that I'm playing against bots. But whatever. Yeah. So. So that's my little grievance about Paladins, is they changed the damn card system again. They rearranged the chests again, and it looks like they've almost completely removed Onslaught from the thing completely. Which is actually, I'd rather play Onslaught than Deathmatch.
Well, it's also, you know, like with Fortnite and PUBG, it's also, we see some video games all the time of it's copycats.
Yeah.
You know, now that they're the big genre, all of a sudden, oh wait, now all the other video game developers are like, wait, why have we been doing this game for the last decade? Let's jump on the bandwagon. And now we're going to see probably a whole bunch of clones like these games.
Or how about this? And Hi-Rez, I'm talking to you directly. Give us back the multi-queue. For the love of all that's holy. Oh my goodness gracious. Because, well, yeah, I mean, shit, you don't need one now because you only have 2 game modes. Thanks a lot. But, yeah. All right, I'm done bitching and moaning. All right, on to the next one. Could Google's stance on cryptocurrency destroy Bitcoin and more?
Oh my gosh!
So this is actually a new thing. Facebook has already done this. Now Google stepped in and basically said, we are not doing cryptocurrency related advertisement across any of our platforms. No more!
No more!
And so basically, now here's the interesting thing, okay? And this I don't completely understand. Okay, including initial coin offerings, wallets, and trading advice across any of its ad platforms. So when they say wallets, does it mean that...
Like Coinbase is a wallet.
Yeah, so... So did they have one that they're now discontinuing use of, or are they...
Who?
Google.
No.
So what are they doing... Oh, advertising for wallets.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
No, basically the theory is most of them are pretty sketchy advertisements. It's like, get in for really cheap prices, and it's usually like, you know, Coinbase is that's a legitimate Coinbase wallet for using your Bitcoin. But a lot of the advertisements were rather sketchy. Instead of basically dealing, it seems like, you know, trying to kind of the whack-a-mole of which one are on the up and up and which one are not, because let's be honest, a lot of cryptocurrency is rather sketchy.
Yeah, like the Atari coins or Atari bits or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, so it's to try to kind of just too many sketchy things. Let's just erase it all. Makes our lives easier.
Right. So basically, they do an annual report called Trust and Safety, and in 2017, they had to take down 3.2 billion ads that violated its policies. Which was nearly double of what it was for 2016. And I'm sure that there was a butt ton of them that had to deal with, Bitcoin related stuff, cryptocurrency stuff, because no one really, I'm going to be totally honest with you. There's probably not many people in the entire world who knew anything about cryptocurrency, but someone says, a bunch of flashy words and makes them feel like they could become super duper, rich at the drop of a hat.
I tried.
I did too.
It failed.
Well, I've actually doubled my money, so.
Damn it.
But
my money keeps. I invested it like the exact wrong time.
well, I mean, technically, I think I'll probably come out even because I still have stuff just riding in there.
Well, the thing, like, I did put some money in the cryptocurrency, but like, I put very little in, basically enough where I knew if I lost it, it's like I wasn't gonna lose any sleep over it.
Yeah, no.
It would have been like basically like a bad night at the cards. And like, I'm willing to gamble just to see what happens. Who the hell knows?
Well, to be totally honest with you, what I did is I did do. I'll be frank with you. I put in $250 worth of U.S. currency into different versions of Bitcoin. Well, it was Ethereum and Litecoin.
I beat you by just a little, but it's down a lot now. Just because, like, all this stuff, it's that's kind of thing like with this cryptocurrency, with not necessarily just cryptocurrency itself, but the power that both Facebook and Google have over basically companies and industry success is now with Google and Facebook basically axing the cryptocurrency advertising, is you're seeing a drastic decline in what your wallet looks like and the value of these cryptocurrencies. And so single-handedly, Google and Facebook have that power to basically not kill off an industry, but depress that industry and possibly impair it and, kind of reduce its viability just by killing off the ads.
Now, the interesting thing is, and I do want to point this out, is that different cryptocurrencies, basically, they mine different ways. One of the big moves with the fact that Facebook and Google have basically shut down their ability to, or shut down the cryptocurrency related advertisement from appearing on their platform, is that there are a lot of people who are going, does this mean that trying to buy a new graphics card is actually going to be feasible now, or are we still SOL? And to be honest with you, this is probably a good day for the consumer when it comes to video graphics cards. I'm not exactly sure about the graphics card industry because they could, bump the price up because they're super valuable, but then sales were coming down. I'm not exactly, I don't know what the give and take is with that, but it would be really nice to actually have the ability to buy a new graphics card and not be the price of like an entire PC.
Yeah, it's a terrible time right now to build PCs. I got my graphics card. I got lucky at the timing I bought mine. But yeah, I looked recently. I'm like, what the hell? How did this card cost so much? I could definitely see there's always going to be cryptocurrency is not going away because there actually is some useful applications that they're trying to create out of cryptocurrency, such as like secure transactions. Because basically, one of the ideas behind cryptocurrency is it's virtually unhackable. And so you can be very secure, and that information that's backed by cryptocurrency is actually valid and not full of BS. But what's the monetary value on that? Versus, as we're seeing now with the cryptocurrency, the value of cryptocurrency is kind of like, what is it actually backed by? At one time, at least our money had gold behind it. Yep. I know it doesn't anymore, but at least at one time there's a little bit of something behind it.
Then we got stupid.
Yeah, but versus cryptocurrency, it's basically worth. Why is it worth what it is? And you can see events like this with Facebook and Google banning the ads kills its value. But there's always still going to be cryptocurrency in some form or fashion. But I can definitely see, the investment portfolio or the people, having the crazy 6 graphic card devices that, because that's the other big issue.
The black boxes.
Well, the other big issue with mining cryptocurrency is you also have to weigh your electricity cost. And so for the last year or two, well, actually for a number of years, it's been worth it to mine cryptocurrency to offset your electricity bill because the price keeps on going up, so you're selling at a profit. But as the price keeps going down and down and down, it's actually costing you more in electricity than it is the cost of what you're making in cryptocurrency, because mining cryptocurrency is very expensive as far as your graphics card electrical bill goes.
Yep. Damn, I had one other thing I want to say. Oh, the other thing, and this is just a rumor, is that there might be pressure from governments to make cryptocurrencies lose value, simply because there's no way to find out how much you have, and so it's not taxable.
And the government feels like,
I need to tax everything.
Yep, they're losing the control over their economy is how they feel. Yeah.
So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next one is really an open one. But how much credence does one put into reviews? Azelios.
I'm going to be honest, especially like on the phone, I definitely look at reviews. But it also depends on what the reviews are. So for instance, like, you look at some reviews of games, and it's very obvious that it was all created by the developer. You read the reviews, and they all say the same exact thing, just with slightly different variations, like in the spelling, because half the words are spelled wrong. So you're like, wait, these are obviously all fake.
I mean, basically just plastering the press release with quotes from different big-name people.
Versus then when you read some other games reviews, you can kind of tell, like, okay, some are probably fake, but you can kind of read between the lines, like, okay, these are actually real players who are actually giving their honest opinion of the game. So I pretty much always do look at the reviews, just to see, like, is it something I even want to look at? So for me, at least, I definitely look at reviews. Now, I almost never actually look at professional reviews. I always look at, like, in the iOS store, I look at the end-user reviews. I'm sure there are some real reviewers out there for iOS games. I never look at those. Same thing on Steam.
You're supposed to be reading my reviews. Oh, wait, you don't have to read them there. You just read them on Altered Confusion. Never mind. We're good.
Okay, we're good. Versus Steam, I'm looking at the end-user reviews. And those,
especially if they had that button check on, I bought this game.
Well, and especially for me when they give the pros and cons.
Right.
Because a developer reviewing their own game, they're not giving the cons. They're just going to say it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Awesome.
True. But yeah, they have like the full pros and cons and that stuff. Now I feel pretty confident it's not just some BS reviewer. So yeah, I like reading the reviews. And there are some games I'll never actually buy, but even just reading the reviews kind of gives me an idea of what that game is about. It's almost like a walkthrough to see. So yeah, there's a lot of reviews for games I've never bought, and rarely do I not actually buy a game just because of the reviews. It might cause me to buy a game, but if I'm just looking through games, I'm just kind of perusing the reviews just to see what's out there.
So for me, being a reviewer, I have to say that, first of all, if there's a game that I'm interested in playing, I'm kind of hesitant to read the review simply because I don't want it to color my interpretation of the game.
Sure.
However, when it comes to something that's not game related, I'm more than willing to, like if it's a book or a movie, I of course will read the user reviews, not this guy from the San Diego Times says this, because the vast majority of like newspapers and stuff, they're artsy fucktards. I'm sorry, but they have some weird ass like critique of a movie that us normal people would never see it as, well, the shadows were in such a way that it made it impossible for me to enjoy the movie. Dude, the entire movie is about shadows, so, which of course, that brings, just real quick, if y'all have not heard about the reviews on the Black Panther from China, holy shit! Oh my God! Holy wow! I thought we had racism in the U.S. That is, I don't.
You don't think there's people who weren't thinking that in the U.S. though?
No, yes.
There were.
But that, like, seriously, that was like the statement of basically the nation. I'm just like, what? It's too dark because of all the black. I'm like, oh Jesus, did he really say that? Anyways, so for me, when it comes to video game reviews, I don't read them before I play the game. However, the interesting thing is that I will go back and maybe check out some people's reviews for the games that I just reviewed. Now I've played, and I unfortunately have never gotten around to writing reviews simply because I haven't played enough of it. But there's a game out there, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I'm gonna cheat real quick. It is called Observer. And it is, I played the game and I felt like if you have any form of epilepsy, you're going to die from it. And I felt like they used a lot of clip art and cheap tricks and it's a cyberpunk game where you're hacking into people's brains. And the hacking part looks like shit. And I was going through a website, and one of the website goes, "It's one of the cyberpunk games you got to keep your eye out for." I'm like, well, no, it's not. There's got to be better games than that within the cyberpunk genre. I'm sorry, but I mean, sure, when you're not doing I'm sure the story's compelling, but I can't actually get through the freaking brain hack portion because I feel like I'm going to have like a seizure.
Did you have a seizure?
No, but I was pretty close.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. My heart was fluttering. My heart was fluttering. My eyes were kind of getting watery and out of focus. I don't know. But anyways, so to be honest with you, I like to see reviews for stuff that is not video game related because I like to, if the game seems interesting to me, then I'm going to try it. Or if a friend says, dude, this game is awesome, I'm going to take it for a spin. Even if it's not for me, like Final Fantasy XI or World of Warcraft or one of the other games out there that are heavily online.
Well, I feel like it's a little bit different on iOS because, you know, if you're, let's just say you're looking on Steam, right? I know they have a free-to-play section, but let's just say they cost money.
Yep.
You're looking at just the pay games. Well, now, you know, you have a higher barrier of entry to play the game. Now, if you're actually paying money versus if you're just doing it on here, now all you've invested is time. You know, if you play the game, you realize like, wow, this is another terrible clone of the same game I played 5 times already. Then you're like, oh, well, I just only wasted an hour to figure that out versus actually the money. So that's how I kind of feel like.
To be honest with you, I don't think I actually read any iOS game reviews. I think it's literally like, does this seem interesting? Does it look, to be honest, does it look pretty? And then I'll take it for a spin. Because there's a couple games on my phone that I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. I play for a little bit, and I'm just like, and I'm done. Well, because then I fall into that trap of like, you know, you could be having such a better experience if you pay $2.99. I'm like,
well, like the most recent one is this game called Land of Livia. It only has like 20 reviews, but you can very obviously tell from the reviews that it was actually played by people who played the game, just the way they reviewed it. So even though like it's a game like not very popular, you read them like, oh yeah, this is actually people who played the game, really enjoyed the game. So that is much more important to me than a game that has like, you know, 5,000 reviewers and they all say, best game ever, oh my gosh, graphics, elite. You know what I'm saying? So like that's where I'm like a game like that with so reviews, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try it out.
So I mean you're right. I mean, with iOS, basically, if it's a free-to-play game, and iOS and Android is basically, you know, the two platforms you're gonna go onto when you're looking to either publish or look for a free-to-play game. You basically just choose, just choose something random and play it. And if it seems kind of interesting but not really your take, then you just click on the related titles. And then you just start, you start crossing those mofos off until you find one. If you don't find one, you go find something else. I'll be totally honest with you. When it comes to my cell phone, I am addicted to match 3 games. But it can't be just like straight up like match 3. It's got to have like some kind of like storyline. Like I'm trying to, I don't know, kill the bad guys. Maybe like a match 3 RPG, kind of like Puzzle Quest, but not shitty. Puzzle Quest 1, phenomenal game. Puzzle Quest 2 was terrible. It kind of reminds me of, oh God, I just forgot. Damn it, I had a game, and now it's completely... They have a game called Soul Knight. Soul Knight. I'll have to look it up.
Is it about knights with souls? Or did they lose their souls?
Or they're trying to find the soul.
It's so hard to get confused. Ooh, very roguelike. Charlie likes roguelike games.
So let's talk about roguelike. That is a that is a term that has become very vague and broad.
So that's actually kind of like a game, the other iOS game I played with. It's called Dungeon Survivor 2.
Dungeon Survivor 2.
So basically the idea is you know, you have your town and you can build up stuff, but you also have your party of 4 and you're going into dungeons. And you're going around and you can and probably will die. Now to me, which makes it not roguelike personally, is you can resurrect your players when they die.
Wait, what?
So if your players die, like when they go into the dungeon, they go to the graveyard and you can resurrect your players. Back to the stats and stuff they had before. Where to me, the original roguelike was you died, and too bad, your party died.
No, for
That's
me,
how I feel about it.
So there's a couple different ways to do roguelike. For me personally, there is the ability to, basically there's one way where you try to go as far as you can, and then once you get to, usually a lot of games sit around like a tower or a dungeon, where you're either going up or down, and at the end of every single level, you have the ability to continue on or warp back to town or the starting point. And so there are games out there that you have to warp back to town in order to keep that stuff. You know, if you've got equipment or you picked up treasure, whatever, so you can continue to get your character stronger, you got to warp back to the home base. There are other games where, like Rogue Legacy, where's a roguelike game where you have a character, you go as long as you can, and if you die, your descendant gains access to the previous your previous character's like armor and weapons.
How did they get the armor and weapons then?
I don't know. Okay. However, with Rogue Legacy, the interesting thing is that every single generation, the character could be a different class type or suffer from a different malady.
Nice.
Some of the maladies are good. Some of the maladies are terrible. Like you could one of the maladies is flatulence. Every single time you jump, you're going to fart. It has nothing to do. It does not cause anything in the game.
I was kind of curious. Like,
but
can you cause like a large fire or something if you know?
But basically, it just gets annoying because you're like.
Nice. And it makes the noise as you're playing?
Yeah, as you jump. But there are also games that make no sense whatsoever. So you go as far as you can. If you die, you immediately get resurrected to town, and you've basically got all your stuff. But there's a game called Azure Dreams. You're going up a tower, and what happens is you gain all of you. If you can come out of the tower, you retain everything that you picked up. However, every single time you enter the tower, you start again at level 1. Level 1 of the tower, level 1 character stats. However, you're getting more powerful equipment that allows you to take more hits or do more damage, so you can get further up the tower. And for Azure Dreams, you also have a like a pet to help you out. To kill the bad guys as well. I loved Azure Dreams. I never made it all the way to the top of the tower, but it was a good game.
Very nice.
So a lot of people will say that roguelike is basically, it's a randomized dungeon. If that's the case, then Diablo is a roguelike game.
Yeah, it's definitely, well, you look at the RPGs in the iOS, and like, it almost seems to be like a separate category. It's like, those are not my RPGs, man. But they're still kind of have like stats and armor involved, so kind of they are, but they're kind of not. So it's like, the mobile devices really kind of bastardize a lot of our genres in what they really are.
Well, I think it's you're going off of developers are basically looking for hot words when it comes to the iOS and the Android devices. So they're like, RPG is very recognizable. We're going to do that, and then we'll throw something else in that people are like, oh yes, this makes perfect sense. We should definitely do this, and it has nothing to do with anything. Or they try to slam two genres that really don't go together, and it becomes very obvious once you've downloaded it. Hopefully you didn't spend any money on it. It was a romantic horror puzzle game.
No idea. I have no idea what game you're talking about.
No. I'm just saying, for example, when you have like these genre mashups, there are certain companies out there who can do it. There are companies that definitely can't do it. I mean, to be honest with you, when Puzzle Quest first came out, you're talking about a match 3 puzzle game mixed with RPG elements, and you're just like, what? That make no sense. Or you have a game like Metronomicon, which is an RPG music game. Which worked simply because there was so much love thrown in both places that it truly felt like an RPG music game. It wasn't like an RPG game with music elements or a music game with some RPG elements.
So you're saying if you try combining 2 genres, but you half-ass one of those genres, it just pulls down like the entire game. It makes it all terrible.
Well, I don't know if it pulls down the entire game. It's just kind of like false advertisement. Be like, this is a romantic, I don't know why I'm stuck on romantic horror games, but a romantic horror game. And so basically it turns out being like, you have a love interest in a horror game. Like, that's not a romantic game. You know, if it's like a dating sim mixed with the horror game. Actually, I think that's Doki Doki. That's a fucked up game, by the way. If you haven't played that game, that is fucked up.
Why?
I cannot tell you why, because it has to be experienced, and I am not going to ruin it for you. It seems like your Japanese anime dating sim, but it twists and turns to something a little bit different. Romantic horror game. Euphemism for my life.
You just take out romantic and just horror game? That's my life.
Game.
Yeah, probably more game. Actually, I don't have game, so none of those actually fit my life.
It's a cat simulator.
Ooh, there we go.
You see that? Did you see the I sent Zelius a picture, basically put a shape in tape on the floor, and the cat has to sit in there.
I meant to bring home some gaffer's tape from school to actually do that, and it didn't happen.
Nudge. We're not going into that game. Anyways, so do your own research. Make your own decisions.
Or listen to Charlie.
Or you can listen to me.
Or Nudge. Nudge has opinions
I will give you the right opinions. Yes, thank you, Nudge. Now I'm gonna have nightmares again.
Don't you have nightmares anyways?
Yeah, I do. But this is on a different scale. We had a couple other topics. Unfortunately, I didn't write them out because we were hoping to have Craig Campbell here tonight. But since Craig is not here, we're just going to have to wing it. And
so here's one.
Yes.
So the International Olympic Committee had talked about allowing esports into the Olympics.
For the China Games, right?
Sure. But what they're saying is basically they're not going to allow any violent games like first-person shooters into the Olympics because it's not in the spirit of the Olympics. Which I would say, then why do you allow boxing, taekwondo, archery, shooting stuff that are actually potentially violent in of themselves? And yet video games with simulated violence are not allowed. It's kind of silly and hypocritical to me.
I don't have an example of that. Yes, this wonderful, like, you have games where literally you're kicking the crap out of each other, like judo or
boxing. I mean, boxing you're hitting people in the head.
And then you're like, virtually we're going to shoot each other or cast magic spells on one another to cause the enemy to fall to the ground and then have a 45-second respawn so they can come back. Like, you don't want that. And then, of course, my favorite topic is, what do you consider violence? Because, let's be honest, What kind of asshat runs around the world and jumps on people's heads to show their dominance, damn it? Mario is one of the most violent games ever made.
Hey, he's just trying to get the princess back.
What if the princess doesn't want to be saved? Maybe Princess and Bowser have a thing and Mario keeps going, "Sup?"
That's called Stockholm Syndrome. I'm just saying, he's trying to save her from the Stockholm Syndrome
Wait, but
and then reprogram her back to being his lover.
No. So she's got Stockholm for who?
Ooh, good question.
Both of them?
Ooh. Wow, that's some messed up stuff right there. Maybe it depends on which game we're playing now.
Seriously, it's like the princess keeps getting kidnapped by Bowser. So, yeah, Toad. Toad's the real hero in the story. Hey, you never know. Mario was declared no longer a plumber, therefore he's now unemployed. He might have gone... I'm just saying. But anyways, I mean, seriously, if you take... You can look at anything and put it in a category that maybe not a lot of people are going to think about, like violence. Mario. Football. It is... They actually say it's a violent sport.
Well, the thing is now that, like, if you had like an FPS or even a MOBA in the Olympics, people will be like, they're not going to be concerned about the violence of the esport. It's going to be, why is there esports in the Olympics in the first place? But
We need to put chess in there first.
But now that they've come out and said that, like, we're not going to put this game in here because it's violent, like, they've basically backed themselves into a corner going forward. Where now, let's just say, 12 years ago, 12 years from now they put an FPS. Now it'll be like, wait, we thought you said it was violent, but now you're changing your mind.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. People cray.
People are cray, yes. And my guess is probably anybody who's making these decisions, let's be honest, they probably never played a video game in their life. And don't even know what it's like or edit.
Well, unfortunately, no, not going to go there. I'm going to refrain from that one because Charlie does not need to jump on his soapbox over and over again. But have you been playing anything?
Have you been playing anything lately?
Yep.
Yeah, I've been playing the 2 iOS games. I've been playing, Land of Livia. So basically, Land of Livia is a game where you have a map and basically at different coordinates, and you go to them. It takes time to travel to coordinates, so your phone just chills there while you're not. And then you go do quest while you're in these places. And again, the quest can take a half hour, an hour, 2 hours. So it's a game that basically you play it like, it's not really an idle game because it's just kind of sitting there. But it's this game like, you check like every hour or two just to be like, have I finished my my quest yet? So, and I'm enjoying that game because you just kind of check back every once in a while, see what's going on. Hooray, I did it. Now I can go on to the next thing.
I have been playing a lot of Zelda.
Ooh, how's that going? Are you still being pissed off by the whole
okay, so the durability shit needs to go. That needs to go. However, I have finally found the douchebag who I need to find to actually increase my weapon inventory, my shield inventory, and my bow inventory, so I can actually have more than like 6 weapons and basically be constantly rotating them in and out. And I have finally gained the Master Sword. So
is that very exciting for you?
Yes, it is.
Why is it exciting?
Why does the Master Sword make me happy? Because it can't break. Oh my God!
By the way, Nudge disagrees with you.
What did you agree with me? Oh, well, whatever.
Do you not care about what the audience thinks?
Well, everyone has their own opinion, and I support your opinion.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
But anyways, yeah, I've been playing a lot of Zelda, and of course I've played a little bit of Paladins, as it's probably apparent since I keep getting pissed off with the changes they're basically making willy-nilly at this point.
Are they making any positive changes to Paladins?
I don't know. I can't tell now. It's like, this week, we're going to change the card system. Next week, we're going to take away a mode. And the following week, we're going to, I don't know.
Here's the thing with, not just Paladins. I feel like high-res in general.
High-res in general is so, what do you call it? Indecisive.
It's like, what's their year-long, do they have a roadmap?
I don't think so.
I think the end of the roadmap is like success.
Yeah.
But everything in between, it's like Madden football. The when you're choosing your play, you've seen that meme where it's like,
Yeah.
That's like what it is. It's like they don't have any idea. It's like you almost like, actually, it is like Madden. Your analogy of Madden, where you take a skill away, you remove.
Yeah. No, but it's like, but instead of every year, it's like every week. They're throwing an enhancement and a broken feature dart.
Yeah, it's like.
And how about like freaking Smite? Slow down with the character releases. Jesus Almighty. That is like, there's so many characters now. Slow down. And then of course Paladins, they just keep changing the mode, the different modes around. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have, like, I like Smite. I just don't like it's just, the toxicity and the whole thing is just, it's too much for me. I can't deal with it anymore.
Are you feeling toxicity in
Paladins?
Smite? And Paladins, you're feeling toxicity now?
No.
But Smite you did.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, that's what's interesting to me is like, in Paladins, like I never felt that toxicity like I did in Smite for some reason.
Well, for me in Paladins, when you play with the controller, it automatically turns off the chat window. And I don't see it. So I'm like, people can be pissed off at me. Dude, what the fuck are you doing? But I'll never see it. That's the one good thing about using the controller. I am glad, however, that they did fix some of the issues with the controller. Because before, when you got to your when you basically gained your ultimate, it would literally go.
Oh, that's kind of useful actually.
Oh no! Please,
it's just giving you tactile feedback to let you know it's active.
No, it's not buzzing. It's just this. It's like this high-pitched noise, volume-wise. And you're just like, oh God! So you just trigger it just to get it away.
That is kind of odd, actually.
Well, it turns out that it had nothing to do with the controller. It had only to do with the placement of the skill bar. If you put it where it was, it's fine. However, they did like some change, like a graphic change, if you wanted to be over there. And then all of a sudden, because you changed it to the new one, it was just this high-pitched noise until you got rid of the ultimate. Which is terrible. Terrible, people. Terrible.
Are we still talking about that one?
No. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about MomoCon. MomoCon! Ladies and gentlemen, I just got an email stating that we will at least have one panel at MomoCon. It will be Thursday, May 24th. It will be the Thursday night Hangout show. However, it will be later than usual.
What time?
10 p.m. Yeah.
That's an interesting time slot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be having, I don't know where it'll be held, because they still haven't chosen rooms. However, the Thursday night Hangout, May 24th, will be at 10 p.m. live from MomoCon. And of course, we have a fan table, and I have my media credentials. So, so be on the lookout for that. There's still time to buy your ticket. This will once again be taking place at the Georgia World Congress Center, downtown Atlanta. There are tons of hotels in the immediate area, and if you can't get a hotel in the immediate area, you can always get one that's close to a MARTA station, and then you just take MARTA down there, and you're literally like, I'm at the Georgia World Congress Center.
Or you can stay at Charlie's basement.
That's already been rented out.
Oh, I did not know.
Yes.
Secrets.
But seriously, MomoCon, it's going to be awesome. You should definitely check it out. I do not have a slide up for this one, but I'm almost 100% sure that Big Fan of Greenville will be happening again this year in November. As soon as all the information starts coming out, you can bet your ass that Altered Confusion will be there, and we'll reveal as much information as we can.
Nice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I know that Craig Campbell is not here. However, we do want to promote Capers. I know the Kickstarter did start March 6th, 2018, and is currently on its way. I believe they're over 230% funded, which means that you have new stretch goals being opened up. I don't remember if Chicago's already been opened up or not.
They're hitting for stretch goal 3 tonight. When I left, they were $78 from stretch goal number 3.
Son of a
So they're
bitch.
very close.
It should be good. But Capers, it's awesome. And I'm hoping that that maybe in the near future, once the Kickstarter calms down, and we give Craig a little bit of time to recoup, maybe we can get an Altered Confusion special Capers one-off session and stream it. I'm thinking maybe.
I like the sound of that, sir.
Yes, that would be phenomenal. Actually, let's see. Right now, they're at 51.18.
So what stretch goal is that at?
I can't remember what. No, I can't get it from there. I can't remember if I could do it from here.
I have no idea, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm using the app, and it's.
We're trying to figure out basically what stretch goal the Capers is on, because it was very close to getting the next stretch goal not too long ago.
5,200 is Cincinnati.
So it's close.
So they're sitting at
$72.
$72, yeah, $72. So, you know, and then of course there was a gentleman who was at AndoCon. His name is Sean Patrick Fannin. He is basically like a legend in the Pistol and Paper RPG community. His game, Freedom Squadron, is currently at 235%, which means that they've raised $18,879. And this, of course, is a Pistol and Paper RPG that's based in the Savage Worlds setting, which I'm not 100% sure of. I've never played Savage Worlds, which I think it's based off of Pathfinder, I think. I don't know. Now we're going down a path that I don't know.
Oh,
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to thank everyone who tuned into the Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I once again apologize that Craig Campbell is not here. We'll make up for that. He'll be coming next week. But I do want to say one thing really, 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 really quick. And as ladies and gentlemen, there are several different ways for you to get in touch with us for Altered Confusion. You, of course, can go to our website, www.alteredconfusion.com. You can go to our Facebook page,
Altered Confusion.
You can check out us on Twitter.
At Altered Confusio without the N, because
the N would break the internet.
Oh no!
The YouTube channel.
Altered Confusion LLC.
And of course the Twitch channel.
And where we're at right
Twitch.
now.
Twitch.tv/AlteredConfusion. And open. Okay, I can't read. Open other Ned. There will be a Mergers and Acquisitions.
Mergers and Acquisitions gameplay.
Yes. Well, I mean, we'll talk about Mergers and Acquisitions, but we won't probably play Mergers and Acquisitions. I mean, hell, we could probably try to set that up for another time. Internal Burn.
What?
Holy crap!
Oh, the legend returns.
Dang it! I'm so sorry, Internal Burn. Anyways, so ladies and gentlemen, there is a phenomenal thing called Patreon. Patreon is basically gives you, the viewers, the friends, the fans, the ability to help Altered Confusion out with a monthly donation. Now, of course, that donation could be of any size. It could be $1, could be up to anything, and that, of course, once again, is a monthly donation. That money goes to Altered Confusion, strictly to Altered Confusion, not to Zelius's cat, which I know At this point, people know that, but I have to remind him.
Or Charlie's Mountain Dew addiction.
Right. It doesn't go towards Mountain Dew. It strictly goes to updating our equipment and also going to conventions. Now, by going to conventions, what I mean is basically if it's out of town, if there's a fee for the tickets, then it goes towards the con tickets. If there's a fee for the electricity or the fan table, it goes towards that. And it also goes towards our stay at the convention. It does not go towards gas. It does not go towards food.
It should go towards gas because you need gas to get to conventions.
I will pay for the gas.
So we go to conventions, is what Charlie is saying.
Your show has conventions. Our show goes to conventions. And we try to find a way. We're trying harder this time to try to find a way to stream. Charlie already has gas. Depends on the day. Yeah. But if you do not feel like you want to do a monthly donation, maybe you still want to do a financial donation, you of course can hit the Donate Now button. That's a one-time donation through our PayPal account. Of course, once again, goes to Altered Confusion. If you do not feel that money is the way that you want to help us out, the one thing, number one thing that you can do for us is if you see something that you like from Altered Confusion, not only like it or favorite it, but share it. Repost it, share, write your own spin and put the link in there, something like that. We want to have as many individuals as can be for our show and for basically the Altered Confusion community so that we can talk about the topics that y'all want to talk about, as well as gain the opinions or insights of others that maybe they have a different viewpoint that we haven't even thought of.
No, we're always right. I'm always right.
No.
Oh.
Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. It has been a pleasure to give you everything coming out of our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next week with Craig Campbell to give you the lowdown on his latest project, Capers, and much, much more. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.